Bookkeeping for manufacturing businesses. Unlike a business that provides a service, bookkeeping in the manufacturing industry can be seen as more complicated and more work. You'll need to keep track of your expenses as well as your inventory and material costs so that you can accurately price your product to ensure that you're attaining the profit margin that you want to attain. So, let's get started. Inventory and production costs. Products that you need to keep track of includes your raw materials or the direct material inventory. You'll also need to keep track of your direct labor costs. This cost is the labor that goes into producing your product, whether it be on an assembly line or operating machinery. In addition to these wages, a manufacturing business has other fixed overhead expenses, which can include depreciation of the building or equipment, as well as occupancy costs such as utilities. Lastly, a manufacturing business will have variable overhead, which is the production costs that are associated with the increase or decrease in goods being produced. Understanding inventory. Inventory constantly needs to be monitored and tracked at all stages of manufacturing and production to be able to accurately reflect inbound and outbound costs. The materials that are coming into the manufacturer are called raw materials. This means that if you're manufacturing vehicles, your raw materials could include steering wheels, tires, cloth, or leather for seats, and so on. Work in process inventory. Work in process inventory needs to be taken into account when discussing inventory. There are costs associated with the product while it's still in the assembly line. Finished goods inventory. The finished goods inventory is the inventory that is completed and ready to be sold. When looking at the costs that are associated with these goods, it includes not only the time, labor, and material that has gone into production, but the costs of holding or storing your inventory. Inventory management. Inventory management is crucial. Two ways of keeping track of your inventory are a periodic inventory system and a perpetual inventory system. Periodic inventory is typically done at the end of an accounting period, whether that be every month or annually. This involves taking a physical count of all the product on hand. Perpetual inventory is when products coming in or going out are continuously being updated in the system. Since this method uses software, it keeps business owners up to date so that they can make informed decisions. Since your inventory is being sold and then restocked through your manufacturing, and their prices may also be changing, you also need to value your inventory. Inventory costing. There are two main types of costing when it comes to inventory costing, and that's inventory costing and production costing. Inventory costing is the amount of money that is associated with the goods that you have in inventory at the end of a specified accounting period. This valuation is all of the cost that you incurred to create your inventory and get it ready for sale. And again, this includes your raw materials, any work in process, as well as finished goods. Production costs, on the other hand, is the manufacturing and inventory costs of all resources consumed during the production process at the end of the period. Inventory valuation. There are 4 ways to value inventory. First in, first out. It's exactly what it sounds like. The first items into inventory are the first ones to be sold. Not only is this one of the more common methods, it's easy to understand. Remaining inventory is then matched to raw materials that are most recently purchased. Last in, first out. It's when the newer inventory is sold before the older inventory. This isn't typically used since the older inventory will be more unlikely to be sold. As well, it will likely lose its value. Weighted average cost. It's when you divide the total cost of goods in inventory by the total number of goods in inventory to achieve the average cost. This method is done when items aren't distinguishable from each other or due to volume. Specific identification assigns a specific cost to each inventory item. This method is usually used when you are purchasing and selling items that are quite expensive. Production accounting. Another crucial aspect of bookkeeping in manufacturing is the production accounting. Standard costing is one of the more common costing methods used in manufacturing. This method establishes standard rates for material and labor used in the production of your goods. You can then determine the cost of each individual good for pricing. Job costing is typically used when you're working on a small number of units or manufacturing a specific made-to-order product. Essentially, this is where you work out the cost of your labor and raw materials and apply markup as desired. Activity-based costing aligns the manufacturer's resources and activities to the products as it relates to their cost consumption. This method incorporates more indirect costs to help achieve pricing of their products. Direct costing is when the manufacturer looks at costs that increase or decrease proportionally with the production input. These costs are referred to as variable costs. This method is typically only used with short-term pricing. The costing method that a manufacturer chooses to use will vary depending on what they're manufacturing and what their volume is. As with any industry, there are specific software programs designed for the manufacturing industry. Figuring out which program works for you and your business can be complicated and should involve the assistance of your bookkeeper or accountant, as they're aware of what you need to control. Need help from an expert? We know this can be complicated. Let one of our experts at Valley Business Center help. For over 30 years, Valley Business Center has been providing comprehensive bookkeeping, payroll, and tax services to our clients in Whistler, Squamish, the Sea to Sky Corridor, and Metro Vancouver, BC areas. Valley Business Center provides reliable and effective services to all clients. If you like this video and want to hear more, please hit the like button and don't forget to also smash the subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you soon.